Apart from some of the obvious things like save up my money, don't spend it for Christ's sake, save it because you will need it later. No one ever told me that. The advice I did get, which I would reiterate to anyone, is to make the reference librarian your best friend. And that's got nothing to do with the fact that I wound up marrying a law librarian from the High Court, but it's essential that you make research your focus at uni, because research is your focus elsewhere. If you don't have the ability to research a case and find a case, then you're useless as a barrister, and you are useless as a litigation solicitor. So these skills are absolutely critical. So no one really told me that. They only said, make your reference librarian your best friend, and I didn't understand that, so I did it anyway, and now I understand it. So we go full circle. The other thing is that I have a fifth-year law student who comes to work with me. She started off by saying, Mark, I like administrative law. I'm a university graduate, a student, fifth year, and I'd like to come to court with you and just watch and be aware of how you run things and how you run the case. And, I don't want to interrupt or interfere with what you're doing, but I just want to come along and watch. And this woman did come along and watch 4 or 5 cases. She's now my researcher. But she came along to 4 or 5 cases. I was able to email her the summons, the written submissions of both parties, and the reply submissions, and the decision under review in administrative law cases. And she was fully appraised. She knew exactly what the case was, and was able to follow it with interest and to learn from it. And we had discussions about it from time to time afterwards. My God, I wish someone had done that at law school. Me, I wished I'd done that at law school. We don't have email, but a few minutes to explain the nature of the case. But what they've done is they're sent to cases at law school, and you don't know what it's about. And sitting there listening to a case that you don't understand is it's like watching grass grow, or it's just confusing. So if you do know a bit about the case and you can go along, then you can learn a lot in just a few court cases. In administrative law, there's a million things to say, but you relax. That's the most important thing. There are a lot of rumours about administrative law, a lot of stories about how hard it is, and it can be difficult. But you'll need to relax first. You'll need to read the basic instruments, the statutes and the main cases. Not every case perhaps, but the main cases, and you can ascertain what they are. In fact, you can ask your teacher what they are, and then read them carefully. Don't get hung up in the language. In administrative law, what trips people up is not the basic stuff, the basic idea. You know, you get a decision of a government minister, it's bad in law, you take it to court and get it quashed, torn up, thrown in the bin. One of my students said, squished. I said, what remedies would you like in a scenario? I said, put to the class. I said, what remedy would you seek? And she said, squishing. And I said, you mean the ancient prerogative writ of certiorari? She said, that one. So you don't have to even know what it's called. It's all about taking illegality and squishing or quashing or certiorari, however you call it. It doesn't matter. So don't get hung up on the language. Just do understand why the subject is being taught, why people do this thing called administrative law. And then you'll realise at the end of the day, and I want you to realise at the beginning of the day, it's just about power. It's just about the destruction of power, the exercise of power, and that's why it's fun. And my students don't really appreciate that until about 4 or 5 or 6 classes in. Sometimes we work off the front page of the Herald, any Herald, any front page, and you'll see 5 or 6 administrative law decisions there, and it's either merits review or it's judicial review, and it's prevalent in our society, it's prevalent in our state, and it can be fun. In terms of research, read the materials for God's sake, but don't get hung up on the technicalities, because that's where students fall, where students fail. If they're worried about the difference between certiorari and mandamus and prohibition and habeas corpus, and just don't. It's about quashing, and it's about identifying the error, the badness in a decision, the unlawfulness in a decision. That's why judges enjoy it too. There isn't, in my particular life, there isn't much outside the law so badly that I'd have to think seriously about that. It's technology, which I do use in my work, but I think technology rules outside, apart from family and friends, and good food and wine, which you can obviously see I enjoy.